To sit with veterans and first responders is to sit with lives that have been shaped by service, by moments where duty came before self, where purpose was clear and the cost was quietly carried. When the uniform comes off, the silence can feel heavier than the noise ever was. Questions emerge, like who am I now and what comes next? In this space, nothing has to be proven. Strength can rest, armor can soften. The therapy room becomes a place to set things down, memories, vigilance, grief, and to begin listening for what still calls you to move forward. Healing in here is not about erasing the past, but about weaving it into a life with meaning, beyond service, one that holds peace, connection, and choice. Here, purpose is reclaimed and rewritten, not in what you endure, but in how fully you get to live. This is a space for solace, for humanity, and for hope.
This is the Veritable Veteran Podcast, bringing truth and exposure to the struggles veterans and their families face post-military. Depression, anger, PTSD, suicide. Who am I? What do I do now? So I'm just having a hard time getting in the right mindset because this whole week has been one confluence of crap in my mind, and I'm just pissed off mostly about everything. So
yeah, I feel that.
Trying to not let it screw everything up, but it's, like all this stuff that we got for this, podcast stuff is not working, and I have no idea why. And it's like, why did we even spend the money on, nice microphones and headphones and everything else if they don't even work? So
I'll figure it out. I usually can research it and figure it out.
And it's hard in the moment to let it go,
Yeah.
That's we were just laughing because I've got, I don't know how many thousands of dollars of GoPros and Rode mics and everything else that I just tipped them off the edge of the desk so I could put the iPad in their place.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Yeah, exactly. And then we were laughing because you're like, oh, we should just share an earbud, as I'm getting the earbuds out to share earbuds.
Yeah. It's like got $20 or $10 Walmart earbuds that are working better.
Sometimes you gotta, drop all the fancy stuff and go old school and send a runner to talk,
Yeah.
Usually I'm the pre-workout guy. Like if I'm in a crap mood, I'm like, yep, I got to pound some pre-workout and that'll maybe bring my happiness back to a sustainable level. It's the Rip It effect, really,
Yeah, I wish.
Do we want to lower the camera a bit so we're kind of on the same level as them, or do you think it's fine?
Or do you want me to raise? Look at
No. Don't. No.
I can give ours a lift kit.
Leave yours.
Or if we lean back, like we don't like each other.
No, I'm not going to make you lean back. No, I just think if we lower our camera a bit, then all of our heads can be kind of level
in the same.
Up. Never mind. Back up. It's because it's hitting the computer. Oh, okay. Maybe if I lean that. There we go. I leaned the computer back a little bit, but that's better. There's less.
I can also give I can put the iPad
above.
On. That's fine.
No, you're good.
Don't worry about it. So, Aaron, I have your, it's Labyrinth Therapeutic Services, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Is that Kat? Is that where you work, or do you have your own?
I have my own.
What is the name of yours?
It's Out of the Woods. So I can hear it in your look at me.
And me?
I can't.
No, it is.
It's Out of the Woods, EMDR, and counseling services. I can literally feel it in your face.
What's going on?
She can't have a short name. She has to have the business names are so long. Federal and state forms don't even take them. There's too many things in there. Can you just shorten it up a little bit?
I've heard I have a lot of people tell me how much they like the name of my business.
It's a great
Thank you very much.
I like it. I like it. And I've heard much longer than that. So stop picking on her.
I haven't. That's okay.
See, out of the woods.
We don't have to like phonetically go for it.
Listen, I like.
Oh,
You're like
wait.
a 5-year-old clapping.
Oh, wait.
circle.
The counseling services is part of the name too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I literally
That's fine.
shrunk it
Okay.
up to the point where it's like,
You can just say out of the woods EMDR is like where most people have landed.
or I
Right.
just shrunk it to like
That's fine.
OOTW. It's OOTW and Labyrinth Therapeutic Services. I can't even spell Labyrinth most days, so I'm just like LTS. We're LTS and
Yeah.
OOTW. That's just keep going with the
Just
acronym.
point people to the David Bowie movie from like 89 or whenever it was
That's
when it came out, The
exactly.
Labyrinth.
Thank you. Pan's Labyrinth.
Yep.
My
Pan's
word.
Yeah.
Oh my word. Thank
Isn't
you
that
for
all in
that
Spanish?
visual.
No, it's French.
Yeah, that's
Not where the name came from.
Yeah.
Close enough. People might get it.
Listen, while we were forming the name, we actually talked to another nonprofit over in Maine. Is it Travis Mills?
Mhm.
And it's a Marine that's, was chatting with us on the thing. And he's like, oh, we have a labyrinth that we work people through, like the maze. And I'm like, seriously, what is with you people?
It came from a Taylor Swift song.
Right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
She's a lyrical genius.
Yeah.
I was gonna say something real quick. With everything that happened with the mics and stuff. One of Evan's biggest pet peeves of me is he says he doesn't understand how I can get over things so easily. Like, he's just like, how are you just like, it's okay, it's gonna work out, it's fine. And I'm just like, I don't know. And it like makes him so mad. He's like, I will hang on to this.
Be miserable with me.
Yes. He's like, I'm mad and I want to stay mad.
I think
He's like,
that
how do you not
honestly-
stay mad?
We do the same thing, but it like we'll flip. Like
Yeah.
neither of us will usually be like in that same space at the same time, but it's never the same one of us. But I think we both experienced that because there have been a few times where I'm like, I need you to be more upset about this.
Yeah,
I
she's like,
need
"Listen,
you to
I
be more
just-
invested.
I don't need your like analytical brain fixing that. Just be mad with me.
Stop
and
telling me it's going to be fine and just be dramatic.
Like a lot of times it's like with parenting things, it's like the kids will do something that will like really, it will make us both mad. But like 10 minutes later, I'm like over it and I'm like, it's okay, we'll work through it. And he's like, how are you over that already? I'm like still pissed off. I'm like,
Yeah.
well,
They are the best at it though.
Oh, they're
in general. It's like they know exactly the right thing to do and say at the exact right moment to just instantly enrage you.
No, I think they
Yeah.
practice it daily, like especially our youngest. Our youngest literally is like, he'll sit there and if either of us are doing something that is not like irritated at him, he'll be like, and you'll see it cattle walk through the room and he'll be like, hey, mommy. And then he'll do something absolutely ridiculous. I'm like, child, why? Why are you this way?
that's our second born. I swear he lays awake at night, like planning
Jotting down.
everyone's demise.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we've actually accused him of that to his face. Where it's just like, you do this on purpose, don't you? You like purposely plan
I'm
how
telling you.
you're going to ruin.
I was like,
They
oh,
know.
crap.
He's hiding the notebook under his.
Yeah.
They're on to us.
Oh, my word.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I don't even want to do like a formal opening to the show. I'm just going to let it go the way it is. And we're like, see, this is how, because honestly, it's like this is real life because, we just spent, we messed up the time because I didn't check which time zone. Well, I knew what time zone and I just didn't think about it because I, spaced it. And then, we get here and the microphones are screwed up and the headphones are screwed up and your camera's not working. And it's, it's like you spent forever setting it up and I spent forever setting up, well, not forever, rushed through it because I forgot I screwed the time up, and then it's like she has to rush through her makeup and getting ready. And then, it's just, we're here and it's fine and it'll work out and I'm letting it go. It's like.
But it always comes down to you never want to do this ever again.
Yeah. Well, and that's,
Until next
my mindset. Yeah.
Until
Until
next
next week.
time.
Yeah. It's like my mindset, I've been just struggling with trying to figure out where everything's going, in the world and in life in general. But that's just, too big of a picture to handle, obviously, but you know, my mind gets drawn that way and I have to come back to just, you know, controlling what I can control and letting go of what I can't. So, but all that being said, Aaron and Kat are here with us today. And we met Aaron at the New Hampshire Vet Fest. And Kat, you were there, right? Like we just
I was
didn't meet
wrangling
you.
children.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I saw you briefly with children.
With
I
children.
heard, I heard of children. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
We had all
we
four
met
kids.
at the me and Aaron met, or Aaron, Lydia was there as well. We met at the meet and greet on, I think it was Friday night, wasn't it? At the Anheuser Busch Gardens.
In October.
No,
Was it
November.
When was it?
November. Yeah, I think it's November. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we just started chatting, and then we realized that, you know, and I know you do a lot with, you know, with your company, Aaron, and I know you do as well, Kat. And we'll get into that. I'd like to hear a little bit about just, Aaron, your story about getting into the military. And what I'd kind of like to do is just have, and I can edit this out, but I'd like Aaron to kind of tell just how he got into the military and kind of his path, and then kind of stop wherever your guys' stories converge. And then we'll go and have Kat kind of do the same thing, just kind of telling her story of how she got into what she's doing. And then you guys can, and then where the stories converge, we'll start again there, and then have you guys kind of tell the story together. And then we'll get into what you guys are currently doing, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, that works. See, I'm glad you've got like a theme of like.
I'm trying to figure it out a little bit. I normally don't have too much of I like to have bumpers, and that's about it. I don't like to script anything. I just like to kind of guide the conversation.
That's what Kat was like, what are the themes or whatever? And I'm like, oh, I just do so much better just winging it, because that's
I mean, I have things that I want to ask about as far as therapies and things go, but I'd love to hear just, you know, your guys' stories kind of separate and then together, and then we'll kind of get into what you guys do and how you guys do it.
Yeah. So I remember 9/11 happened, and I was pretty young. And then my oldest brother, who I was like basically my best friend or whatever else, passed in 2003. And he had always wanted to be in the Air Force or whatever else and serve. And that really kind of took the trajectory of my life as a builder and going into the trades and whatever else. And just, I mean, it disrupted my entire family life at home, across the board. And it, a bunch of things went horribly wrong as expected. Parents aren't supposed to outlive their kids. And so when they do, it causes all sorts of issues anyways. So all of that aside, I ended up, originally I had a PJ contract back when they were giving out Special Forces Air Force contracts. And I got bumped out of the program. I got in a little bit of trouble, because of the turmoil at home. And so the colonel or whatever in charge of that basically contacted me and was like, hey, if you want to, you're out of the program. If you want to get back in, you got to reapply and start all over. And I'm like, I don't want to do that. So I remember it was like a Sunday afternoon. I went online and emailed back when you could like get the AOL discs for the free internet. Like from Walmart, you get 30 days free and you make a new email every 30 days. And that was me.
Oh my word.
Yeah. So we'd have the same screen name and just add another number after it. Yeah. So on my 30-day subscription to AOL, I think it was, yeah.
It's going to have to be like an info link underneath. Like, all
right. Like they're like, what is this AOL? Like, is that like an acronym? Like, yeah. Do you know that actually just went offline like last year?
Yeah. AIM, they got rid of the AIM messenger. And I was like, oh, it's like,
that was still a thing.
There goes Soccer Chick 86 off into the wind.
They had it until last year.
Down last year.
No way. I thought that was so gone.
I literally said it to you. And
crazy.
I was like, Soccer Chick 86 is gone. And then you're like, oh, I don't remember what my screen name was.
Yeah. Well, see, I don't. It was because I kept having to get a new 30-day subscription.
Right.
I was born in 86.
I was too cheap to, do the other thing. So anyways, long story short, I emailed the Marine Corps recruiter, and he got back to me on a Sunday, and it was like, I think it was weeks I was gone. But I remember I'm like, hey, listen, I don't care. I just want to be, like if I'm not going to go PJ, I want to be boots on the ground. I want to be in the fight. I don't want to be, I don't think my personality, I would be able to be like, hey, I, played the trumpet for the Marine Corps for, 10 years. Like, there's a lot of people that do that, and that's great, right? I don't want to diss their service. I'm not that guy. I can't be that guy.
You can't play trumpet.
No, I can. I played hot cross buns one time.
That's not real life.
It is real life.
Yeah.
No, true story. True story. My sister was in college she was a music major, and she needed to teach. She had to have a student that she taught an instrument to. So she taught me hot cross buns in like 2 hours. And I went in front of her entire college classroom and played hot cross buns, but I didn't empty the spit trap out. So it was like drowning hot cross buns. It was
I so badly want a trumpet to appear right now, just so I can force you to prove that. That could be like a little side.
I have a trumpet, and I would give it to you, but I don't think it'll fit to the camera.
Blown out.
We just Bluetooth it through the
Yeah, here you go. I'm gonna
go.
Hold it up to the mic.
Yeah, here you go. Here, blow into the microphone.
And this is where we go off the rails.
Yeah.
Back to your life.
You can't have two Marines in the same room anywhere and expect a clean conversation. It's just going to go off the rails. So anyways, back to my story. I basically had heard a bunch of stuff about Marine Corps, as we all do, as we're, doing whatever. And I remember I did the like a mock boot camp thing. It was like a couple of weeks, almost. It was less than a month before, like delayed entry to like leaving. And I did this mock boot camp, and everybody's like the drill instructors there were like, you don't want 3rd Battalion Kilo Company at all. I'm like, okay. So I told my recruiter, I'm like, hey, I'm ready to go whenever, but not 3rd Battalion, and especially not Kilo Company. She's like, okay, well, you leave, whenever. It's like October 16th or whatever. I got there and, jump on the little yellow footsteps or whatever. Yeah, Evan knows where it's going.
Yeah.
Exactly where you think it's going.
Yeah.
Was welcomed into 3rd Battalion Kilo, and
your recruiter knew, by the way.
Oh, he knew. He was smiling. He's like, I got you. You'll never.
He
be
knew.
There.
He knew exactly where he was sending you, when he was sending you, and he's like, he literally went and got his notebook, and he was like,
definitely.
Kilo. October. Yeah. Oh, you could leave in October and avoid 3rd Battalion Kilo.
The foliage is great.
Yeah. Yeah. So, hooked me right up. Which is crazy because like a lot of people remember the recruiters' names and stuff, and I think my life was such a hot mess. Like I was literally just completely disassociated through most of that. I don't remember the dude's name. I don't even remember his rank. I don't remember anything except that when I had to do the like qualifier at the office, I like sprinted down and like came back and it was like multiple times I had to go down and back this stretch. And I remember coming back and I was running so fast in these shoes that were definitely not made for running. That I like face planted and skidded across the pavement in front of the dude, jumped up. He's like, oh crap, are you okay? And I like took off running. I'm like, I'll be back.
And you wonder where our 3-year-old gets it from.
So anyways, long story short, I went in 03XX, so infantry open. And then my rack mate and I in boot camp gotten a bunch. He was like big gear locker, and so I was like, we would clean and organize in there, and like we figured out we could take little cotton balls and make a pillow and slide up inside the shelf with a squirt bottle and a rag, like you were polishing the bottom of the shelf like a good recruit. And he would take a nap, and then would take shifts. We got busted. The drill instructor came in. He was so excited that we were like, so gung ho, and Ellis pops out and he's got like a bag mark on his face, and it was all downhill from there. Like he's like, like the pillow mark, but it was from like the cotton balls. And yeah, we got in trouble. So then, fast forward to School of Infantry, I ended up, I was still 03XX. He was as well. And I'm like, where are we going? Cause all the MOSs, came and gave their spiel, and he's like, let's go do mortar stuff. And so off we went to do, 0341 stuff. And then, I got dumped into 2nd Battalion, 8th Marines out of Lejeune. They'd just gotten back from Fallujah, so there was, that whole thing. And I remember hearing a few stories of people, having a rough time there. And
yeah, but those guys were in a great mental headspace to receive new, young, impressionable people.
Yeah, so there was a few instances and of incidents as we were getting ready to drop to them, and I'm like, I'm not getting like murdered, like by the fleet, like that's like I'm all set. And so I remember I had a friend from high school before I had joined the Marine Corps, and I was like, hey, do you want to get out of where you're living and like come down here? So we did like the whole like Marine Corps marriage, like between duty stations. So I was under no chain of command, so I didn't have to, I got chewed out for that too. So that, long story short, that one didn't last very long. I got deployed to Iraq, and she went and did her thing, and that was basically the end of that. And then we officially separated a month before I was in Afghanistan, and really, honestly, didn't plan on coming back from Afghanistan. Really, I was in a horrible headspace, and basically went and did my thing, kind of like every other homicidal maniac that decided to go down some special forces pipeline, except I was just a dumb Marine grunt. So there, the running joke was like, if there was a gunfight, Dugan found a way to get in it. And, like they were teasing me that I'd get on top of my post to fight guys on the other side of the, we were in combat outpost Sharp. So named after one of the guys, second day we were there, got shot in the neck and passed. And so we took the schoolhouse that was right next to where he passed and named it after him. But yeah, I was the running joke was like, if there was a gunfight, I was in it. And it wasn't completely inaccurate. And I remember getting home and, going to church and stuff. And they're like, hey, we've been praying for you. Thanks. That's real nice of you. Appreciate that. I had other plans, but apparently, your prayers were stronger than my plans. So yeah, there was guys on patrol. One guy had a cross stuck in his flak vest, and a round hit from an AK on like 3 sides of the cross. And like, as the SAPI plates aren't really made for much more than, maybe one round. And yeah, all 3 sides never went through. And, you live to tell the tale. And that was pretty neat not neat, but also scary, and there was so many times where I probably shouldn't have made it, but I did. I remember rounds hitting those stupid little sticks they had on the mud walls. They're going through the sticks here and impacting here, and I'm running through it, and it's just, I don't know, divine intervention, sheer dumb luck, blame it on what you will, but I somehow came out the other end of it. And then I got home. I actually, was never, ever, ever, ever getting married again, or even, falling in love, because that sucked. And then I was in college, I was working full time, whatever. And I actually met someone who I believed was going to work out. And we ended up getting married, bought a house, had a kid. And then the withdrawal from Afghanistan thing kind of happened. And, all the politics and everything else aside, it really messed with me, because there was a lot of stuff that we did in country, especially me, kind of not intending to come home anyway. I pushed really, really hard to, do my job. And so there's a lot of moral injury stuff I kind of dealt with after the withdrawal, because I lost a lot of friends, right? So that, 14 friends are now gone. And there was a lot of stuff that we have to do in combat that was not pretty, but I wrote it off on, this is for, to free the kids of Afghanistan, right? And like I'm freeing, an entire country from this dictatorship, and so Taliban bad, freedom good, let's kill everything, and we did. And to turn around and hand the keys back to them really was the biggest slap in the face for for me, and it affected me in ways I didn't think it would. And my mental health declined rapidly. At the same time, the mother of my child was doing some things behind my back, and ultimately my mental health. Oh, I went to the VA for healthcare, and they told me I had to pay for counseling. Was really that fun thing. So I got because I couldn't afford the $150 a session thing. So I got reevaluated. I ended up getting the whole wonderful PTSD sticker on my file, and then they paid for counseling, but that was also immediately used against me. So ultimately my wife and mother of my child used my mental health against me to, hurt me further in the process. My entire life, I had a farm, I had a business, I had everything, and it all basically went down the toilet. And I spent a couple of years in a really dark place. And then I was a couple of years into just absolute darkness, starting to survive, but not really in the greatest way ever. I was drinking a lot, partying a lot, got a little bit of time with my daughter. And when I did, it was great. But then as soon as she was gone, I would head right back into the, craziness. And then Kat and I met online, of all ridiculous places ever. It's just one of those, like, what's that?
I said, yeah, who does that?
Yeah,
weird.
so weird.
So weird. So, you know, and I remember when we first met, you know, it was I remember telling her, like, first of all, like, your internet safety sucks, because it took me 5 minutes to figure out who you are, where you live, what your business is, what your job, you know, what your business's name is, what
Almost
your career
like
is.
I'm a therapist and
Yeah.
want people to be able to find my job.
I'm like, you know, and second of all, I'm like, I just need you to know I hate therapists, so this probably isn't going to work anyway. And she's like, oh, okay. You know, and
Noted.
and
I was trying to download Bumble anyway, so
yeah,
I thought, okay. So I
Here's
had
the
never
convergence.
internet dated.
Yeah,
before,
right.
Okay. That never in the history of ever. I had 3 kids and was getting divorced, and I had people up my butt about, like, you have to, you know, try again, like, you know. And I was like, no, I'm good. I've got 3 boys. That seems like enough testosterone in my life. And I had, like, friends that had internet dated, and I knew that there was a dating app that, like, the woman had to message first. And so I was like, I want to do that one, because I'm just not going to talk to anybody. I'm going to be on there for like a week. I can be like, hey, I tried. I needed to see. No, thank you. I'm all set. Try again later.
She went on the
And
other
so
one and saw some things.
So I downloaded Tinder thinking that it was Bumble, and it's not. Fun fact. I found that out very quickly, because I instantly started receiving a lot of messages that I did not know I was going to get. And so I had like a moment of panic. And then I realized that it didn't matter, because it's not like they know. Like, I don't have to respond to them, right? Like, just because they message doesn't mean I have to do anything. And so I panicked for a day. And then the second day, my best friend and I kind of sat there and just had fun of like, like, swipe, this is fun. I had to Google which way to swipe for safety. I didn't want to swipe the wrong way. I would have had it all the opposite way. And so I had a really fun day of just swiping and judging. I don't know what it is about men. You all pick the worst photo for your first one, but then the second one is like, why is this not your first one? This one is so much better. None of you hike as much as you say that you do. And none of you need to post shirtless photos. I don't know what that is. I don't care that you go to the gym.
Photo?
No,
Oh,
not
okay.
you. This is the reason that I was like, this guy seems normal.
There you go.
It was the blue suit. It was the blue suit.
The only questionable thing about this profile, and I need to dig this photo up.
Oh, I have it. I'll send it to you so you
is
can like make
powder
it like
blue suit with a cowboy hat.
Was it the suit from Dumb and Dumber?
pretty darn close.
Was it Harry's suit from Dumb
It
and
was
Dumber,
like
the
his
blue
third
one?
or fourth photo in, and I just remember saying to my best friend, I'm like, this is either going to make a lot of sense when I start talking to this person, or it's instantly going to be the red flag of no, immediately no. And so he's the only one that I sent a message to first. And I remember being like, I think I'm supposed to have like a really funny thing to start this out, but I have no idea what I'm doing. So I'm going to go for like the low hanging fruit and be like, how old's your kid? Seems like a safe topic. I'm not going to get some random photo that I don't actually want to receive.
Evan has the picture now.
You sent it to him?
Yeah, I just sent it to him. Hold on.
You can insert that on the thing. It just haven't pop up on.
Do you see what I mean? Now you know him. So it makes all the sense in the world. Again, I don't know why you guys pick the photos that you pick. They're bad.
That was his choice instead of the shirtless photo.
Yeah, it was.
Honestly, that really was. Or
yes.
Like you're hiking the mountain photo. None of you hike that much. There is no way.
We went on a hike.
I went on a hike one time, and I loved it.
I love hiking.
I love hiking.
You know, he put that photo up there, and he's like, they're gonna love this one. This is the one.
I don't know what your thought process was with that photo, unless it was purposefully as like the red herring of like, this will weed out. Listen, I don't know, people. I don't know.
If you can't appreciate the finer things in life, I don't need you around me.
Yeah. Hey.
Oh, that's what that was? Okay.
If you can't appreciate this, you just need to move on.
So anyway, I sent that
Swipe
message.
the other way. I don't know which way. Swipe the other way.
I left him on red like 17 times because I didn't have the notifications on my phone. So like he'd message me this like long, really awesome thing, like trying to get to know me. And then I'd keep sending it to my best friend. Like, who is this guy? And why is he asking me these questions? Like, what do you want out of life? And like, what are your hopes and dreams? Like, what are you, a serial killer? Like, my God. Why are you so
Where do you keep the keys? How many locks do you have on your back door? Okay.
His phone did a thing.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
Hold on. I think the camera. There we go.
Okay, there we
go. I didn't. I would say I didn't put the iPad on Do Not Disturb, and
that was a bad choice.
Spam
That's
call
okay.
appeared on the screen.
We'll figure it out.
So I left him on red a lot of times in like the first 2 days, and then I decided to delete the app because I had seen what I needed to see, and I was really tired of the messages I was getting. And so I was just like, hey, like if it works out with this dude, cool. Probably won't because I'm not interested in having any kind of relationship right now. I'm just interested in getting people off of my back. But I'm all set. Like I've done the thing. I've proven that I've tried the end, and so I deleted the app, and we were just texting at that point. And then like 3 days after that, I get a random text. He's like, so I'm going to delete Tinder because it just feels really like dishonest to like be on the app when like I don't really want to be talking to anybody else. And I was like, oh, I didn't know that was like a step. Like I didn't know I had to tell you. I already deleted it.
I don't know either. It was my first go around with
so
it.
I just didn't. And then I think we had our first date like a week after that. We'd been talking for like 2 or 3 weeks, I think. And we had our first date the day that I got Eras Tour tickets. Best feat of my life. I was going to jump off of a building if I didn't get tickets that day. And I can't believe you still met up with me after I said that in text message because that was dramatic.
Oh, it was very dramatic about her.
Almost as dramatic as that photo.
Yeah.
Almost.
Don't worry, the photo will be included.
There we go.
That'll be the thumbnail for the episode.
She had the cover.
Labeled the episode Aaron in the blue suit.
And whatever that thing was that was on his head. I think it was a cowboy hat.
Pheasant tail cowboy hat.
I wanted to know what tail it was. I was going to ask you what was on it.
Entire rear end of a pheasant just slayed out on my,
Yeah.
Totally normal.
It's like, not the feathers, it's the whole butt. Like the whole thing, meat and all.
Winking
There's like a foot in there. There's like a pheasant foot.
Yeah. And then so we met up for our first date, and then that honestly that was it after that. I think. But
we did this the much more Christian way. We met on Christian Mingle.
Get it?
No. Okay, we didn't officially meet on Christian
You're right.
Mingle. We realized after the fact that we had seen each other's profiles, and I had sent you a smile.
Yeah. No, she had sent me a smile or whatever it was. It was like the
on it.
Yeah, like a thumbs up emoji, like, hey.
He like
and I was like,
ignored me. He says that I picked one of the most unattractive first photos. And I was like, how could you say that?
That's really offensive.
Weird.
You can't say that to her.
Weird.
No, your
I said it after we were married.
Yeah, after we were married.
It was a while. I was like,
okay?
so
that doesn't make it okay.
Honesty is key. And she's like, why didn't you respond to my smile? And I was like,
I was a little freaked out.
Well,
he's like that first photo was not.
I think when she asked me that, I think I went and found the photo and showed her the photo, and I was like,
it was her powder blue tuxedo.
I was like, your powder blue tuxedo threw me off. And she's like, yeah, I guess that really wasn't the best photo. And I was like, I mean, you had some good photos. That was not one of them.
Not the one.
No, but it's funny though, because like we didn't realize until after the fact, until after we were like engaged, that we were like, wait a minute. I was like, you were on Christian Mingle. Like, I remember seeing your profile.
I sent you a smiley face.
Yes. Yeah. And you ignored me.
Yeah.
I love that the female brain will hold that.
Yeah.
Forever. After all that time. Like, that is still locked in. I bet she could tell you what she was wearing when he ignored her.
No, I don't think so. But I know what his first picture was. And it was...
a blue suit?
No,
I had a gun.
All right.
And he had his helmet and gear and stuff on, so you couldn't even see his face. Like,
you didn't have to.
You couldn't even see.
You just know there's awesomeness under there.
Yeah.
It was just all gear.
Who cares what I look like? Look what I can do.
This is what I look like 24/7.
Check out this kit though.
Like you're gonna wake up to in the morning.
And I told him, I was like, why did you pick that as your first picture? Because like you can't even see your
because
face.
I was like 20 years old and dumb.
That was the definition of cool back then. That was his hiking photo.
That was the coolest thing I'd ever done in my life. Was
I don't even think you had a single photo that showed your eyes. Like in every picture, you had like sunglasses or something on, but like I could just tell from your face. I was like, I like this guy. He's cute.
This one. I choose this one.
He's cute. And then you ignored me.
Yeah. And then I ignored her again when she showed up at the house. And yeah. So
have you guys ever heard our like meet story?
No.
Like how we like met? Like, long story short, one of my coworkers. So I was a store manager of a Cold Stone Creamery. Nice. Have you heard of Cold Stone Creamery?
Sure have. I'm lactose intolerant. Okay. I'm really obsessed with wheat.
So I was a store manager, and one of my employees, who was like, she was kind of like assistant manager, basically. She was dating a Marine. We're from Pennsylvania, and she was dating a Marine in North Carolina. And she was planning on going to visit her boyfriend, and her car broke down, and she asked if I could drive her. And this would have been our second time making a road trip to North Carolina. And I said, sure, I'll drive you. Well, her Marine boyfriend
that she met on Christian Mingle.
Yeah.
He responded to the wave. Yeah.
Yeah. Her Marine boyfriend was like prior divorced. So he had a whole house that he was trying to pay mortgage on. So he was renting all the rooms out to other Marines.
Nice.
And yeah.
So he made a frat house.
And yes.
Pretty much.
And Evan was
I was
like
this Christian guy trying to live morally.
Well, and so yeah. Well,
yeah.
And she was
she was going for they were hooking up.
They were
and I knew that.
Yeah.
And she came with her,
Yeah.
So he was like, hey, she's bringing a friend. And I was like, cool, another hussy that is just going to hook up with anyone and everyone. And I was like, not interested. Yeah.
So he saw me, and he met me and immediately was just turned off because
immediate judgment because of who she was. I was like,
he thought that I was just like no another one of them, just like my friend. And and I don't want to give her a time because she's completely changed now. She's settled down.
That was my opinion at the time. But, that is not necessarily accurate to what was going on.
Given what normally happens in the Bears.
Oh, that's totally.
I feel like the relatively
I mean, I knew what was going on, and I was very against having sex with anybody before I got married. So I was very defensive of who I would spend time with because I did not want to be put in that position where I was going to have to say no and fight that. So whenever there was girls would come over, I was always literally get away from me. I'm going to go literally lock myself in my room and play Call of Duty. And then, that was literally all I did.
And me, it was literally love at first sight. I was smitten from the moment I met him. And he was giving me the cold shoulder. And I'm over here
worse because now you're more.
Yes. Yes. And I am just heartbroken. I am but I was determined. In it, and it worked out. It worked out because the one morning we got to talking, and he realized, oh wow, this girl shares all the same values that I do. This is cool. And then
and then we got married 3 months later. So yes,
yes,
yeah.
And then
we got married 3 months later, and that was it. So
so it all worked out.
I think it's funny that hers is sheer determination, and ours was literally simultaneously both of us being this isn't going to go anywhere. This isn't going to go anywhere. I'm not looking for anything serious. We're just going to be friends. We're going to take it slow.
I had completely given up because I had tried. There was a couple of potential relationships that had kind of come up recently and before I met her, and I had really kind of tried hard, not in a desperate way, but really put forth effort to get these girls to like me. And they were literally just they were I'm more interested in, it was just more of the same. I was being nice and polite and really kind. And I just got more of the same rejection that I'd always gotten. And I was,
you kept getting just strung along.
yeah.
A lot.
And I was just really mad. And I literally was like, I'm done. Like literally just threw in the towel and was like, I'm literally done. I'm going to go join MARSOC, the, you know, Special Forces for the Marine Corps. And I was training for it. I was literally like running every single day, like running with packs, running with, you know, my flak on, like working out, was like in amazing shape. And I was like, girls are bad. I'm out of here. Like, I'm done. I was like, I went back to like my, you know, being like 7 years old and girls had cooties. And I was like, don't look at me. Like, I'll get infected. And then she shows up and I was just like, in that moment, she's like, hi. And I was like, gross. Like,
girl bad.
Distraction. Girl bad. Ugh. Ugh. And then like run up to my room and like hide.
Well,
I
it's
just
funny
picture
because
him like sprinting up the stairs, like
Yeah.
you know, with a ghost is chasing
no,
you.
he
Get your midnight
literally
snack.
did. I am telling you, he
No, I literally
literally did. Because we were staying at the house. I was bunked up in the man cave.
That place was awesome.
Which had no door, by the way, so that was really awkward.
Didn't need a door. It was a man cave.
I was gonna say, I don't know that any man cave has a door. So
And like he would come home and run up the stairs.
I'm telling you, like,
And I would hear
y'all
him
think
on
I'm
the
joking.
stairs. I would hear him on the stairs, and I'd be like, "This is my opportunity to say hi." I'd be like, "Hi."
Too slow,
Too slow, and he's like,
too slow, nerd.
gotta be quicker than
but
that.
you know, it's funny. It's
You almost had it. You gotta be quicker than that.
I'm honestly surprised that I like was even in a space to like want to pursue this, because I had come off of my own like traumatic relationship experience, because I was actually engaged to a guy in the Army before him, and then he just like straight up went, what is it, like radio silent?
Yeah.
Like he went radio silent on me. And so I was like, and I'm like, we're about to get married and you're not even communicating at all. Now, granted, he was like prepping for a deployment and stuff. So I broke it off with him. I wrote him a letter. This is back in the day when letters were still a thing. You know,
John Lennon.
Yeah.
I wrote him a letter and I said, I cannot marry someone who cannot communicate, you know, with me. And so I broke it off. Well, then I found out that he was cheating on me. And
shocking.
So he was cheating on me and everything. So it all worked out. So, but anyway, you know, I was coming from my own. So, but I don't know, whatever it was, when I saw him,
the way he ran up the stairs was really
it was. I don't
I was
know
a
why.
great runner.
He
I was
was
a great
so
runner.
fast.
I was so fast.
I locked in on this one, and I was like,
I'm just thinking of the
this
way
is
that you
the
go
one.
up the stairs.
She's just
you
like,
still
"Dun,
do that run though.
Come downstairs and she's like peeking over the couch, like, like I'm waiting.
You know when you're a kid and you're like in the basement and you like, it's like creepy and your heart starts pumping, you like run even faster up the stairs. I can just picture Evan be like, run, she's looking.
Like all fours up the stairs.
Okay. We actually discussed this the other day. I actually purposely plotted ways for him to have to like come near me. So in the man cave, I would purposely fall asleep on the couch with the light.
Try and move around me now.
I would fall asleep on the couch with the light on, but the lamp was like behind my head, so he would have to like lean over.
I was like super typical, like I was like super typical dad. Like,
have to turn all
the light on. And I was like, I came home from work and I'm like sitting in my car and I'm like looking, I'm looking up at the light over the garage where the man cave was, and I was like, she left the light on. I go in and I like walk in and I'm like staring at her, like, look, you know, like reach over, like turn the light off. Like, why? I didn't say that, but I was like, because she's sleeping. So I was like, she's going to wake up and see me standing here. So I did it really fast, but I was like, click. And then I was like, gave her the little judgmental stare and like left.
See, the first time was unintentional. When I woke up the next morning and realized the light was off, I was like, I
Game
think
on.
he turned the light off.
Game on.
So then, like the next couple nights, I like pretended I was asleep.
I come in like skidding into the driveway, like, she left the light on again.
She's literally laying there like, oh my God, he's going to notice me. And Peter's just mad.
We drove, cow.
Yeah, and then I would like, as he's sleeping, I like peeked my eye open just a little bit. I'm like, I see him. Oh my word.
But you got him in the end.
I know, I did.
This is
I
a story of determination and success.
That's right. Either that or it's like creepy stalker vibes. I don't know.
Evan's like, listen, I will go on a date if you leave the damn light on.
A light off.
Shut it
If
off.
I come home and that light's on again.
No date for you.
No date.
Denied.
I was going to take you on a date, but I noticed you left the light on.
You know what's so funny to this day? That is something every single night he's like, babe, turn the light off. Because I have a lamp right by my bed.
Mm-hmm. Don't look at me. I'm not the one that leaves all the lights on.
I'm like, I want to sleep in the dark. And she's like, I want to sleep with the sun on. And I'm like, no. It's
the entire
night.
sun.
Like, turn the we have an artificial sun, and she's just like, I'm gonna leave it on all night long.
Anyway.
So, Kat, I know we got Aaron's origin story. Can we hear a little bit about your beginnings?
No one's ever asked me that in the podcast. To be honest, it's
in the weirdest, most awkward way possible.
Everyone always asks his, and I'm like, I'm ready for it. I love hearing it every time.
Yeah.
No one's ever asked me, so that's unfortunate. All started when I was born. No. So I have never been in the military or anything. I grew up in New Hampshire. My family life was chaotic at best. My dad was a very significant alcoholic for, my entire life. And he was great when he was sober, and when he wasn't, he wasn't. And so my family life at home was not the best. And it was very much, I was actually talking about this the other day. This is very much like what you see is not what you get. From the outside, my family looked great. By the time I hit middle school, my dad's business was really successful. So we had, a decent amount of money and, the bigger house, and, everyone would come over to our house for holidays and parties and cookouts and things like that. So, most people didn't necessarily know what was really going on behind all of that. And I knew from relatively early-ish age, that I was just really interested in people. I traveled to Africa with my uncle when I was 13 and spent some time in Namibia. So it's right above South Africa on the
I've been to South Africa.
West Coast. Yeah, I can totally do directions.
Right.
And so I spent 3 weeks in Africa. I just did the never eat doggy walk. This is actually what I did. And then I pictured Africa in that moment, on a map.
If I'm looking at it from the top, let me know.
If I'm looking at it I'm in Antarctica.
It's on the left, which is never eat west.
I always want to say that left is east, so I have to.
Depends on what you're facing.
Well, exactly. So if I'm in Antarctica and I'm looking at Africa,
if I'm in Antarctica,
as one does when you're in Antarctica,
as one does, look up at Africa.
There it is. You can see all of it, obviously, from an aerial view while you're standing in Antarctica.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I remember that in my
Exactly. Yeah,
that was really confusing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking about Africa. I went to Africa with my uncle.
Namibia.
And it was a really life-changing kind of experience, I think, to have. And funny enough, we were actually comparing timelines, and it was when you were in Iraq, right? 9.
9, I was in Afghanistan.
I was in Africa at the same time. So we realized that after the fact, that we actually were almost in the same-ish location, kind of.
You
at
were
least
both in
over
third
here.
world.
I was in a
world
desert, just a
countries.
different one.
Yeah, just a different desert. I mean, they're all the same. I mean, it's
it's sort of the same.
But yeah,
sort of the same.
It just gave me a lot of, I think, needed perspective, and I think my uncle knew that in a very wise way. And I think I'm supposed to say that I always knew I wanted to help people because I'm a therapist and that's like the right answer. And I do
Right.
love helping people. It's honestly the coolest part of my job. But I actually got into this because I'm just fascinated by people and I'm fascinated by how we work and how we operate and how resilient we are, and how sometimes not resilient we are, even if we come from a same event or same place. Um, and so I initially was on a track to work in forensic psych because I really love serial killers. Um, and so
I'm not a serial killer, but I'm
No.
obsessed with the psychology of,
Not me.
which is weird. It's so weird and twisted, and like, but yeah, I was listening to. Sorry, this side note.
Yeah.
I was working at the PD where I was working before I got in the academy, and we were scanning documents for 8 hours a day. And it was miserable because we were digitizing all the old records. Anyway, we were sitting there one day and I was like, hey, you just want to listen to like a podcast or something? He's like, yeah. And I put on like serial killers or something. And it was like, we're listening to it. And I'm like, listen to it. And I'm like, yeah. And I like look over at this dude and he's like sliding papers.
Hanging on for dear life.
And I was like, do you want to listen to something else? He's like, yeah. And I was like, am I okay? Because I'm like, this is a good one. Like,
so it was really grisly and like gruesome.
Yeah, like this is a solid story. And I'm like, what I mean is like, this is a really intriguing story. Like, there's a lot to this. There's a lot of layers to it, And he's over here. I mean, he was like, you just see it in his eye. And I was like,
skipping lunch. Yeah.
I was like,
like he loves to go to bed to like Dateline and and forensic files and everything. And I'm like, babe, no, I don't need that in my brain before I go to sleep.
It's like the best thing to go to sleep to. Like, put you at ease.
I like never even have a bad dream after I listen to that or like watch it. I sleep like a baby. Anyway, sorry. So please continue.
But yeah, so I initially planned to get my degree in forensic psych and I was going to go be in the FBI. And somewhere in the college space, I was at the University of New Haven at the time because they have a really good forensic psych program. I was in a relationship at the time and I knew that it just wouldn't last if I stayed not in New Hampshire. So I came back home and I swapped to just a generic psych. And a lot of it was just knowing like inevitably down the line, I wanted to have kids. I wanted to have a family. And if you're in the government, you don't have a life because you're owned by the government.
Yep.
And so I kind of swapped gears and just went the more like traditional counseling route. I had a brief time where I wasn't sure if I wanted to do like marriage and family therapy or just individual therapy. So I love a good gossip session. And so I took a non-degree track initially with my first, when I first started grad school, because I didn't know which license I was going to want. And then I started, sitting in on sessions and I realized like, I can't stay neutral in a couple session. I'm gonna be like, listen, Tina, it's you're the problem. I need you to get it together. I have too much of a gang mentality. I can't do it. And so I swapped into the licensing track for clinical mental health counseling. So I graduated and instantly started working at the jail out in Keene, New Hampshire. And then inevitably trickled into private practice. I think that's like the gist, I guess.
It's
you did like backlog with relationship wise too. I missed all of that in there. The relationship that I was in college did not work out. We were engaged and then there was just a lot of trust stuff that was there. And I couldn't marry someone that I couldn't trust. And so I broke that off. Weird, I know. And then
I don't know what that's like.
Got into a relationship with my boy's dad. And we were together for a while, got married, had the house, 3 kids. And that relationship was
unhealthy,
toxic, and not great. And so when my youngest was 2 months old, I said enough was enough and started the divorce process. And then decided to download Tinder instead of Bumble.
And here we are.
Here we are.
Yeah, and here we are. A series
yeah.
of happy accidents.
A series of happy accidents.
Yeah, I mean, I swear, like, the universe quite
Should
literally.
be the title
like,
of a book.
Yeah, it should
I'm
be.
sure it is, but it should be the, yeah, anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like
Anyway.
the opposite of, what is it, the Lemony Snicket's Unfortunate
Yeah.
Events?
Yes.
That should, like, yeah.
I was obsessed with that series
That
as
was
a
a good
kid.
series.
I think that probably tells you everything you need to know about me.
I think, like, truly, you know, I always struggle with, like, the all-inclusive answer or whatever, but, like, irregardless of what you believe directs the universe, right? Something bigger than us, you know, God, whatever you want to call it, right? You know, knows where we're going, has a plan for us, and we don't necessarily get to pick and choose where that place is. And so our plan of, you know, like, I got out of the Marine Corps, same thing. Like, I wanted to be in a family and ended up in a family. And then that didn't work. And, you know, for whatever reason or another, here we are, you know, building what we're building and doing what we're doing and changing lives. And, you know, it took me being kicked absolutely to the darkest part of my entire world, to find that. And then, you know, coming back from that was a trip. And then everything we've built so far since then has been, you know, all of the rungs of the ladder that would have helped me out of the hole way faster, way easier, or not even easier, but just, you know, would have built that resilience in my life sooner. You know, and I kind of look back sometimes at what I had and what was lost and what we have now, and it's not perfect, but it's more meaningful. And where I was happy because I had, you know, my family that I had, but felt so empty. You know, I felt like there was more that I was meant for, and it wasn't there necessarily. You know, it was being a dad, yeah, but like, my whole purpose in life has always been to make a difference and matter and help people, and I couldn't do that where I was. Um, so yeah,
Yeah.
happy incidents, horrible incidents, whatever guided us together.
I wouldn't say happy incidents got us together. But
They're
a series of unfortunate events.
Yeah. That when looked through the lens of hindsight could be considered happy.
Yeah.
But in reality, that, you know, most of them are not, and it's painful, and it's like, you know, there was a post that I had posted a while back that got some negative attention, which was okay. I'm okay with that, but they were talking about in the post, it said, you can't hate what happened to you and love the person you became. And I understand people's sentiment about being like, no, I absolutely can't hate what happened to me. I'm like, right. And I get that. And again, it was one of those posts where it's like, it's supposed to just start conversations and, you know, maybe rub people the wrong way a little bit, just, you know, to increase engagement. But I didn't want to hurt anyone through it. And there's a couple people that sent me messages and they were like, that really hurt. And I was like, well, let me explain a little bit about what I felt when I posted it. You can hate what happened, but if you look at what happened with hate, and that hate bleeds into looking at you with hate and who you've become, that's the problem. And, you know, it's like if you were, you know, molested as a kid, I'm not saying you need to look at that as a positive thing. It's not, ever.
Right.
But what came out of it can be positive. You know, the fact that you were able to, you know, whatever positive came out of it, and just changing your perspective on how you look at it. And that's, you know, it doesn't make what happened okay or good. But if we change the way we look at it and say, okay, rather than look at all the bad stuff that happened because of it, let's look at the good stuff that came out of it. Let's look at, you know, where it led me or where it led, you know, our family or whatever. And that's kind of what I try and encourage people to do, is just changing your perspective, because I have a very negative perspective generally. If I don't focus and like force myself to look for the good, I will always find the bad. And social media is terrible because it brings the bad to you, so I don't even have to look for it. So I'll be scrolling. Yeah, it's there. It hunts me, you know, it doesn't even have to try. And so I start scrolling or just trying to find content from my page, or I'm trying to find inspiration, and it's just negative. And I'm like, oh my word. So that's where a lot of my negative attitude has been recently, is just, and I'm trying to avoid that. That's why I've really been making an effort to avoid lingering on the negative stuff. And I don't even know exactly how we got onto this topic, but it's, just changing our perspective on how we see things. Cause I mean, again, I got injured right before I met Lydia. I had been running and, I hurt my knee and I couldn't run anymore. So there's no way I could go to assessment and selection. And had I gone when I was supposed to, I wouldn't have met her. She,
At the same
you know,
time, so I was very big into, I'm a very fine artsy person, singing, acting, all of that. And I was trying to get into an audition for, I don't know if you've ever heard of Sight and Sound. It's a huge Broadway style theater. They have a location in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and then one in Branson, Missouri. And I mean, it's huge. If you were to look at, like, they're rated as like one of the top in the top like 5, places to go if you want to end up on Broadway. You go there. And that was like my dream. My dream was to be on Broadway. My dream was to get into acting and all of that. And so I was trying to get an audition spot, and for whatever reason, I was trying to fill out the application online, and because I'd missed the paper application deadline, and this was back when, like, obviously the internet was not very reliable, and so it's like you fill out the form and then you hit submit, and then all of a sudden it just erases all of the information, and you're just like, what the crap?
like, I could do that again, and then it deletes it again, and you're like,
I mean,
I got one more in me.
I filled it out 10 times. 10 times. And this is like, this is a long, I mean, it was a long application. I mean, you had to fill out
one, and I still wouldn't do it 10 times.
I was determined, and it would not go through.
You get 3 tries and then you're done.
It would not go through. I mean, I spent the next like week probably crying like every chance. I mean, and it's like, and it wasn't that big of a deal because I could have just waited until the next like audition time slot. But like, it was like, for some reason, I felt like if I did not get in on this audition, like that was it. And
my life is over.
Yeah. Ironically enough, the weekend that those auditions were happening was the weekend that I met him. So I wasn't supposed to. I was not supposed to be at that audition.
Good universe. Yeah, and I don't know. I always look at it as, somebody, typical New England analogy. Somebody made the analogy of like a lobster growing, like has to like.
I thought you were going to say like maple syrup or something.
Maple syrup.
I didn't know where you were going with that at all. But it's like this could go so many ways.
It's like stupidly uncomfortable for the lobster to grow as it's molting its shell and basically growing out of it. And I think of like, especially working your body up to go do the indoc for MARSOC or whatever you stepping on the cord there.
Sorry.
Working yourself up for that indoc, you're working out, right? And every time you do a workout that actually makes your muscles or body grow, it hurts like a son of a gun. And I always think of that. Growth is never comfortable. It's not made to be comfortable. And if it was easy, everybody would do it. And it's the discipline of embracing the suck, your typical Marine, grunt. But having the discipline to keep going when it hurts is really the part of the growth that like we've both experienced. And yeah, I could have ended everything and moved on in my darkness. And it was a temptation for sure. And at some point it was, my daughter was the only thing keeping me around. And then, through that, knowing that leaving her in a life without me, the way that things panned out would have affected her the rest of her life, I couldn't die with, I guess. I wouldn't be living with it, but I'd be, I don't think I'd be able to survive that guilt in any plane of reality. And so that's, for a while, the only thing that kept me around. And then, other things started to build on things. And here I am, and then even meeting her and, I hate therapists. And then fast forward, a few months, I ended up the liaison at her business because I watched how she does therapy and how she directs her horde of employees and interns and, you know, pre-licensed therapists and everything else to treat therapy and us, you know, right down to the way they, you know, chart and try their best to protect us from, you know, whatever systems are going to use our mental health against us was just really, really impressive. And I remember it was like 6 months into it, I was like, wait, so you're not like, you don't hate me because I'm, you know, a dude and I have guns and I serve the country. Like, you actually care. And so that was really weird. And then, like, you know, fast forward, we created a nonprofit and chaos and mayhem ever
So
since.
tell us more about that. I don't know how you guys want to do it. I don't know if you want to get into what, you know, Aaron, what you do, or if Kat, if you want to talk about what your business does and then how you guys kind of came together. I'll kind of leave that up to y'all because I don't know the inner workings of it. So I think you guys would have a better idea of how to tell that story.
I guess I'll just start talking, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
That works.
So I created Out of the Woods EMDR and counseling services.
PL.
All one title.
All one title.
LLC.
EMDR was for advertising purposes, but there are a lot of practices out there that only do EMDR. And when I made Out of the Woods, I believe in EMDR wholeheartedly. But I never wanted Out of the Woods to be a space where, as therapists, we're being told how we have to do therapy. It's a hard enough field to be in. It is an undervalued and harshly criticized field. I've spent the last decade of my life being told that I don't really have a real job and my work doesn't matter. And you know, it's just a hard enough space to be in. But then to have these restraints, and it impacts the therapy work. I'm a firm believer that, like, the connection that you have with your therapist is what creates change, regardless of whether it's EMDR or psychedelic assisted treatment or IFS or whatever modality they're using. It's not going to be as effective if you don't have a human connection with your therapist and not just they're an expert and they know what they're talking about type of connection. And so I believe a big part of that is, like, not dictating to my therapist, like, you're going to do only EMDR. And so that's how the long name happened. But I launched in January 2022. I had just found out the week before that I was pregnant with my third and had two other kids and knew I was going to be getting divorced. And that was a time period in my life. And so I built it, just me and my best friend, who handled all of the admin stuff. And then it became a group practice from there. And then fast forward to when I met Aaron, we had talked a lot about just the difficulties for vets and first responders and just military, like, getting into therapy services, and feeling like they can have that type of connection with their therapist, because therapists aren't really readily trained in that type of cultural competency for that demographic. Um, you know, I had started my career in substance use treatment, and then I worked at the jail for a really long time, and so I didn't necessarily take the traditional therapist work path. And I think that just my personality in combination with my work experience, like, I found that just vets and first responders connected really well with me in the therapy work, because I'm not going to sit here in a suit and look poised and, you know, psychobabble at you. Like, I wear ripped jeans and a hoodie to work every day. And I'm going to swear and I'm going to be like, wow, that was really awful what happened to you. Like, let's be rageful together. um and so and I'm going to be the first one to be like, you should go beat somebody up about that, because probably deserve it. But yeah, so you know, we got into those types of conversations, and then I started he had already started being the liaison in my office, you know, for the clients that were there that are in the demographic, but also for the therapists that are there. You know, if they had questions about something, you know, they have a client coming in talking about, like, VA math or like this or that, like, he was kind of the resource for that. Or if clients needed connections in the community, you know, he was kind of the go-to, and I mean, still is the go-to for that. So that's kind of how he started getting integrated into the practice, outside of, like, the token mail where it's like, hey, I bought this shelf, I need someone to build it. Or like, the door squeaks, I need it to not squeak. Or like, oh, the ceiling's leaking and I don't know why it's doing that. And so that's kind of how we got integrated. And then I had started the training for psychedelic assisted treatment. And I initially was going to have Labyrinth Therapeutic Services be a separate ELLC that was going to offer psychedelic assisted treatment. And then Out of the Woods would kind of just stay as it was. And so it could kind of be two separate entities. And then Aaron started talking a lot about, his ideas for, trying to create something that would kind of be an all-encompassing organization for like vets and first responders that, is mainly targeted at mental health, but like the different ways that you can approach mental health, whether, I guess this is the part where you should probably be talking. Take it away.
Get in there.
Get in there. A lot of that stemmed from, I had finally gotten to a space in my own health and healing where I wanted to go farther. I wanted to go deeper. I have, a professional psych eval from a doctor that the state uses to disprove criminal insanity, saying, "Yep, he's good to go," whatever. I have a VA doctorate in mental health saying, "Yep, Aaron doesn't even need counseling anymore." And knowing that the functional level of okay and then where I wanted to be were not the same two levels, and trying to find the next step through that healing. And I had read a bunch about what Pipe Hitters Foundation is doing with the the ibogaine treatments and stuff for all the special forces dudes, and so I started to go down that little pathway of psychedelics are really bridging that gap. They're allowing us to heal a little bit farther, faster, and stay there longer than other modalities. And so I reached out to them. And in the process, it's like, well, what branch of special forces were you in, basically? And it was like, I'm not squarely enough for the Squirrel Club, so I don't deserve, help.
Am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club?
So,
Turtle.
So
I'm here all week, by the way. Impressions all week, every day.
From a space of I was doing great to I was heartbroken. Because it's like, well, my service doesn't matter. What I did doesn't matter. It wasn't good enough to, again, not turtly enough for the Turtle Club. I don't deserve health and healing at that level because I didn't do anything at that level. And it's like, well, but I did stuff. We had ODAs with us. We had Navy SEALs right next to us. I mean, we did stuff every single day of the week for months, and so it was heartbreaking for me, and actually put me into a darker space than I had been in a while. And so then we started talking about, Kat's talking about what she wants to do and how she's doing it. And it really Labyrinth is that bridge in the gap of you don't have to be a pipe hitter to deserve health and healing. We're going to make it happen. And I experienced, how the psychedelic side of the world really does heal parts that are not really touched with traditional modalities. And I mean, when we first started this, I had not really ever experienced EMDR until one of my friends saw that I was working with Kat and what she's doing, and they're like, "Well, have you ever tried the EMDR thing?" I'm like, "Really haven't." And I went to Kat and I'm like, I feel like I'm this weird when you see the poster child for the Marine Corps and you're a combat grunt, and you're like, he doesn't even have a combat action ribbon. You're like, why is that guy talking for us? It was kind of the same thing. I was like, how do I feel like I shouldn't be talking about these things unless I've experienced them myself anyway. And I mean, we've literally just scratched the surface of, the different modalities that I have and haven't tried. But for me, going down the psychedelic-assisted route really, 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 truly changed so many things with me. And so that was part of what Labyrinth is doing and was doing was really, opening the doors for other people to experience those things. And obviously we're so small right now that, we try to say yes to absolutely everybody, as long as we can afford it. And half the time we can't afford it, and Kat's business just covers the bill, which is its own can of worms, but for now it works. But yeah, so that's what Labyrinth is doing.
Kind of how it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does Labyrinth basically create the gateway for people to get help from Kat? Is that
so yes and no.
Yeah.
Yes and no. So Labyrinth, the two aspects of it. One is peer programs and support, and we do horseback riding and hunting, fishing, biking, hiking. all of the things that would just get us together.
All men love hiking.
Yes, because we love hiking.
We've established that.
You're on the courts with your feet. So anyways,
and then
the other half of it is I've got a network of people that I've kind of vetted that don't suck at being therapists for us. They might not suck at being therapists for like, you know, a normal person, but there's a lot of people that suck at being therapists for us. And so within the network, Kat is my number one go-to, just because in my own personal opinion, she's the best with our demographic in the region.
So
But
she's
I also
like
have-
one. So she's like one of the therapists on your team, essentially.
Yeah. So
Okay,
I refer because Labyrinth is so small. We actually just got our MPI2 number, NPI2 number, whatever. Our like official letter, so we can start trying to panel with things and have our own providers. But Labyrinth is so small and young that realistically we've subcontracted a lot of those services out to people like Kat and other entities.
So essentially the idea is that right now, like the way it would happen is, so like if Evan wanted to get, you know, services, he would contact Labyrinth and say, hey, I'm looking for a therapist. You know, Aaron would try to figure out who that we know in that network fits, you know, whether he wants virtual or in person, where does he live, like that type of thing, whatever. And kind of match him with that therapist, send the information over. And then depending on how the vet or first responder wants to do it, you know, Labyrinth will cover either like the full out-of-pocket cost if they want to go through insurance, but there's also a lot of the people in that demographic that don't want to go through insurance because they don't want people to know that they're getting help. Especially with the psychedelic stuff, you know, it's definitely, it's legal, but it's still new, and you know, clearance stuff, you know, kind of prohibits a lot of that, and you know, all of the red tape. So for those that, you know, need to go out of pocket, like entirely, just no insurance, you know, Labyrinth will cover just the full cost for that too, or the copay or the deductible. So essentially it creates no barriers from a financial standpoint for that or first responder to get help, because that's, you know, kind of the other thing that, you know, Aaron came into the, you know, picture with is, you know, he has brothers and sisters, and, you know, these connections that he's trying to, you know, get into out of the woods, but, you know, we're not paneled with all of the insurances or this or that, or certain therapists are not paneled for whatever reasons, and they can't pay out of pocket for it. And he's like, well, can't I just pay for it? I'm like, no.
Apparently that's illegal.
You work here. You can't do that. You know, and just him being really, I mean, me too, obviously, but, you know, him just feeling that frustration of like those financial barriers really coming into play of someone being able to get the help that they want and need, simply because they can't pay for it.
So is that this is something that I've talked to several people about, just messaging me on, you know, Facebook and wherever else, and just saying like, is there like financial aid basically for mental health services? Because, you know, they're like, well, I can't get it through my insurance, or I can't, you know, the VA won't do it, or they're saying that this treatment, this particular modality has been denied. Is there any way to get help with that? And I don't know. And I've told them I really don't know. Is that, I'm not necessarily asking for like you guys and you know, specifically just in general, is that something that even exists? Is there like places that will help pay for that stuff?
I mean, yes, in the same way that like Labyrinth does. So there might be nonprofit organizations or things like that that might help cover the cost. But it's, you know, I think about what is that it's like a credit card thing, but for dental work. And it's like, so it's care credit. That's what it is.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah.
So like if you don't have, you know, dental insurance, or it doesn't cover the procedure, you can apply for care credit, and all the dental offices will take it. And then you can kind of just pay it off. And it's essentially like a credit card or like a line of credit. And there's nothing like that for mental health. And the tricky part is that mental health, the way that you have to panel with insurance, is not like traditional like physical medicine. And obviously, like most people don't understand that. It's just a matter of like, why do you not take my insurance when, you know, all the doctors and hospitals, you know, take all of the insurances. And it creates a lot of confusion, and it creates a lot of barrier, you know, not just for vets and first responders, but for everybody. I mean, especially right now, it's expensive, and most insurance plans are high deductible plans. So even if you're using your insurance, you're looking at anywhere from, I mean, in our area, like 99 to like $140 per session. And people just can't afford it. They know that they need it and they want it. They want to be in there and doing the work, and they can't afford it. But no, I mean, at least to my knowledge, I've never heard of anything that's not essentially like a nonprofit that you like kind of work through and then they cover the cost. Um, and that would be kind of specific to what your demographic is, so to speak, and what that nonprofit does.
Yeah. And there are a few out there, but like even through the Vet Fest, network in state, there's rarely do I see any of the other nonprofits jump up and say, yep, we can cover the costs for that or whatever else. Typically when the call for help with mental health comes out through that network, it's us taking it, which is awesome. But it's, we're trying to, we're, we're trying to feed a lot of people with 2 loaves of bread and a couple fish, and it's, so we're still obviously growing on that, and we're chasing grants and everything else so we can grow our ability to pay for more people to get services that they need, because it's hard enough to say, yep, I think I need help. It's worse when you admit that there's something not quite right and you need help, and then you're like, yeah, you can't have it. That's like a whole different rabbit hole that your brain goes down. I've experienced it a couple of times, and it was almost worse than just like being like, no, I'm fine. I don't need to go try anything else and work a little harder on this, so.
Well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I've seem to gather that it seems like, even for providers like counselors and stuff to be able to accept certain insurances, it seems like even they have to jump through so many hoops in order to be able to like allow those insurances. And I know, like, because the therapist you were seeing, he just ended up just completely cutting off, like not accepting any insurances because it was becoming such a massive, like it was causing so many issues.
I
Like
mean, make no
problems
mistake, insurance companies dominate how we can deliver mental health services, and there's just no way around it. I mean, I have a lot of friends that have their own practices, and they had to do the same thing because it's just them. They're a solo practitioner, and they don't have an extra 40 hours in the week to be calling these insurance companies to argue like my NPI number hasn't changed ever in the history of time, but you're saying that it's the wrong NPI on this claim,
Yeah.
or you're saying that this member doesn't have benefits when they do, and they're calling member services, and member services saying, yep, you're good to go. But then I call and I get put on hold for 3 hours and hung up on twice. And, there's just not enough hours in the day to chase down insurance. And I know people who have had to shut down their entire business, group practices, solo practices, because insurance companies owed them so much money. They couldn't make payroll. They couldn't pay their bills. I mean, at one point, the state of New Hampshire was suing Anthem, Blue Cross Blue Shield, because they weren't even paying our hospitals down in like the southern New Hampshire area. Like it is the biggest dominating factor of what I can pay my therapist, what I can even make if I make anything off of my therapist, like what I have to charge for out of pocket clients who aren't using insurance. I mean, they control absolutely everything about what we're able to do and how we're able to do it, how long I can see a client for. I have to make sure that I'm proving that a client really needs treatment, because at any point they can come in, ask for that chart and say, oh, you know what, you didn't actually prove that this was really clinically necessary, so I'm clawing back all this money, and there's nothing I can do about it. It is an all-encompassing thing, and so I see both sides of it. The therapists that choose to cut ties with the insurance companies, I totally get it. And I also get from the client perspective the frustration of that adding another burden to everybody to try and find somebody because they need to use their insurance. They're paying for their insurance, and they can't find anyone who takes it because everyone's coming off of these panels. And it makes it such a harder space for everybody to operate. And at the end of the day, it keeps people from getting the care that they need.
Yeah. And it seems like and this is not trying to be rude to those who do like take these insurances. It just seems like the ones that do accept the insurances are not the greatest,
Yeah. And I think
a lot of times
it's really hard because I mean, that could be a whole other separate podcast of like, how it differs, moving through the requirements to get your license and, um, you know, how someone can have a license and still not necessarily be a great therapist, and how someone could not have a license and be a really phenomenal therapist. And I think, honestly, to boil all of that down, it really comes down to, again, like that connection piece. Like, it's not enough to be a good person who wants to help people and cares about people to be a good therapist, because it's not us just sitting in a space and saying, "How are you feeling about that?" "Oh, I feel so bad and I have so much empathy for you." Like, that's not what we do all day. And so being an empathetic person, or, the stereotypical, like, I'm the therapist for all of my friends, that's not enough, to be a good therapist. And just because you have letters behind your name, it doesn't make you a good therapist either, unfortunately.
I've still met more that I don't like than ones that I do like.
Yeah.
And I know quite a few at this point.
Aaron, I had a question for you. So you were talking about how when you were trying to get these services, and it just seemed like you kept getting like overlooked or denied. What exactly was like what was the barrier that, like, who was the one denying you from being able
So
to get?
for like the pipeheaders thing was very specifically just for special forces, which was, I mean, I guess my own self was the barrier, but they're a nonprofit, right? And so they have to operate with it.
Okay,
Scope of their practice.
okay.
So,
That's what I didn't quite understand.
yeah,
Okay.
but then like, the VA obviously doesn't pay for psychedelics yet. I guess they're starting to
Yeah.
mess around with like ketamine assisted and stuff like that. And so that's a long ways out. There's a bunch of different states and things legalizing psychedelic mushrooms, and there's a bunch of entities getting ready to start being able to provide those services, which is really, really awesome. And I've been reached out to by a couple that are prepping for things that are changing sooner than later, hopefully. And so when that changes, there's going to be a lot of change that comes down from that. But we're still, it's a waiting game. And then, I see. I'm on your end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
It's
It's a nice armrest.
So there were services out there I could have used, but I didn't have the money for it. Was the other factor to it. I couldn't afford, the ketamine assisted or anything else on my own at first. And so yeah, it was hard, and then it's still hard. Life's hard, but and then similarly to our camera's not working and the mic's not working and everything else. And at some point I just get so frustrated. I'm like, you know what? That's it. I'm done. I don't need it. I'm going to just suck it up and move on. And I think there's a lot of us that just say, I'm done. I'm not playing this game. There's too much red tape. I just want to carry on how I'm carrying on, and everybody else will figure it out, and
Well, I mean, like that's I know Evan, with what he's doing, like, it's funny, when you are building like platforms and programs to help people just assume that you just have all this money and you're just
loaded.
like rich, and it's like I just want to like laugh hysterically, because his biggest struggle the last couple weeks has just, I mean, how many times, like the number of times that he has turned to me and gone, this isn't sustainable. Like, I don't know how we are going to make it.
Yeah.
And because he's not bringing in all sorts of money or anything, and it's just, and he went full time into this, with us not really knowing what it was going to look like.
Well, I mean, I took an $84,000 pay cut. I mean, when I got fired,
that'll make a difference. Yeah.
and it's like, people, I mean, that's a big deal. And we've been blessed and we've made it work. And I ended up, winning the arbitration. So I got, portions of that money back. But like, again, you go from making a significant amount of money every month to nothing. And then it's like, yes, there's money to be made. And, there is, my pages are monetized and, it's like,
we're making so much money there.
So much money.
4 cents.
yeah,
$5 is free.
yeah,
Yeah.
like, and it's like, okay, so trying to figure out, and then I get offered a job doing something that I think I would really enjoy, but it's outside of what I'm doing.
Yeah,
And
right.
I'm like, do I walk away from this or at least step away from it a little bit, to go focus on this? And it's just, I don't know. And that's the frustrating part is I don't want to walk away from this. I don't want to step away from it. I want to be able to do this. And it's, and I know.
Well, and when you pour so much of your heart and your soul into
Yeah.
something, and it's like, because this other thing that he was offered, there's a lot of learning that would have to happen. And so it's like he would have to pour almost 100% of his time into this other thing. And he's like, if I do that, then it would feel like I'm walking away from.
Yeah. Well, and that's what I told the lady that offered the job too. It's like, I don't feel like I'd be able to give you what you need mentally, because I would still be trying to keep feet in both puddles of water here, trying to straddle and just do both. And it wouldn't be doing them justice either. And, so that's kind of, I understand at least from my perspective, the struggle of trying to do the right thing and help people and not
just throw it all.
Yeah. And and not just chuck it against the wall and be done with it.
Yeah. I mean, we have that same talk every day that life is, everybody's like, oh, Kat owns a business. That's great. She must make so much money. Well, she probably does, but equal to that number or more goes back out the door for, payroll and the building and insurance and, insurance companies not paying their bill. And when that happened, like whatever the hack was, we had to cover everything, that was needed to be paid, payroll and everything else, while we weren't getting paid for I don't know how long. And like Labyrinth this year has has raised well, I guess not this year because it's 2026 now, but in 2025 calendar year, I'm still finishing up the books. But just looking at how much money I had to spend to do what we did for the number of people we served, does not equate to the same amount of money that I've raised in donations or merch sales or, grants or anything else. We're tens of thousands of dollars upside down. And that all came out of my pocket and or Kat's pocket or both. And so I'm like, I still own a construction company that I've been trying to get rid of for years, but I can't get rid of it because even if I go get a real job, tomorrow, I'm trying to get a house loan and everything so we can stop renting or whatever else. And it's, doesn't work that way. If I go get a real job tomorrow, I can make $1 million a year and it's not going to count towards trying to buy a house, and for 2 years or something. Like I'm not renting for another 2 years. It's just not happening. And so, like same thing though, I stepped more into my construction realm over the summer to try to pay the bills for Labyrinth doing what it's doing. And I watched Labyrinth go from like a rapid growth rate to stagnant. And, it's the same thing. I had a foot in both puddles and I am so far behind in everything at this point. I could have chased more grants and probably had more money right now for it, but we just didn't. So I feel that frustration. And we literally had we said it yesterday. We could both go, flip burgers at McDonald's and make more money than we're making right now, but we wouldn't feel like necessarily making the same impact on the world that we're trying to make. It's just
delicious burgers, though.
They would be pretty good burgers. Mm-hmm.
I could flip a mean burger. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, yeah.
If I didn't eat them all.
I was going to say,
well, that's
really the problem. Like when I worked at Dunkin' Donuts that one time, it was like a lot of donuts being ingested that didn't need to be.
Yeah.
The munchkins are so small, so don't think about it,
Right. I guess, and this, I hadn't really even planned on asking this. It's more my frustration, I guess, and curiosity, because you guys are even deeper in the realm, this realm of mental health than I am. just how do we fix it? Hey guys, quick reminder, if you enjoyed the episode today, don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, go to whatever platform you listen to these podcasts on and leave a review. That's the best way to help us out. It gets a lot more traffic to us. So again, if you liked it, like, subscribe, and leave a review. All right, love you guys.